Here are the top stories for today, July 19, 2021. Manila has breached the 1 millionth mark in the administration of the COVID-19 vaccines. The Department of Health finds no more active cases of the Delta variant of COVID-19 in the country. A relentless campaign against crime, the Philippine National Police says the country's peace and order situation improved under the Duterte administration. And biking for peace and justice, bike enthusiasts gather to remember Keith and Nolven Absalon and condemn the atrocities of the CPP and PA-NDF. Good day, I'm William Theo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. Manila has breached the 1 millionth mark in the administration of the COVID-19 vaccines. This morning, Manila has administered 1,021,021 doses, of which 657,748 have received their first dose, while 342,273 are already fully vaccinated. Health officials, meanwhile, reiterate that beating the COVID-19 pandemic will also entail following minimum public health and safety protocols. Private hospitals are preparing for a possibility of another surge due to the Delta variant of COVID-19. The Department of Health has earlier asked private hospitals to allot 20% of their bed capacity for COVID-19 patients.
Nag-pandemic, talaga naman po ang mga private hospitals nag-allocate na ng 20% ng bed capacity ng mga hospitals para sa COVID cases. At pag nagkaka-surge po, talaga minamandato kami na mag-increase up to 30%. Ang limitasyon lang po ng mga private hospitals, of course, right now, ay yung dami, yung availability po ng mga nurses namin at mga nursing staff.
More provinces received the freshly delivered Sinovac and Johnson & Johnson jabs. Economic Planning Secretary Carl Chua said these vaccines will help the country to bounce back. About 1.5 million doses of government-procured Sinovac COVID-19 vaccine will be distributed nationwide for second dose rollout, while the second batch of 1,606,600 doses of donated Johnson & Johnson Janssen vaccines will be distributed in regions where the more transmissible Delta variant of the coronavirus has been detected. Chua said more than 90% of the people are no longer affected by the virus, and this will help them go back to work. He earlier said that vaccine deployment should be accelerated in malls, workplaces, and other areas with the highest risk of infection. Johnson & Johnson is said to be 67% effective against moderate to severe cases and 77% to 85% effective in preventing severe to critical infections. On to another milestone in the vaccination drive as Eastern Visayas region received both Janssen and AstraZeneca jabs this morning. The 131,200 doses of the US-made Janssen single-dose COVID-19 vaccines, along with 8,300 doses of AstraZeneca, have already reached the region and were immediately transported to the DOH Regional Cold Chain Facility. Negros Occidental received 70,000 doses of J&J jabs and 2,900 doses of AstraZeneca vaccines, while Bacolod City got 30,000 doses of J&J shots and 18,700 doses of AstraZeneca jabs. DOH Eastern Visayas Regional Information Officer Jelyn Lopez Malibago said all provinces and cities are allocated with the jabs and will be administered to the remaining health workers, senior citizens, and those with comorbidities. The Health Department says there is no longer an active case among the 35 patients detected with the Delta variant COVID-19. Health Undersecretary Maria Rosario Berjera said the DOH conducts an intensive contact tracing among all individuals who tested positive for the variant. Meanwhile, Berjera confirmed the death of a patient from Antique due to the Delta variant. Said patient was an unvaccinated 78-year-old patient. The DOH is conducting a further investigation as to how she contracted the disease despite having no travel history. President Rodrigo Duterte has approved the opening of classes on September 13, 2021 for the academic year 2021 to 2022. However, the threat of the new variants will defer face-to-face classes in the country. Education Secretary Leonor Briones clarifies the setup for this upcoming school year.
Gusto na pong mag-clarify na yung pag-approve ni President ng September 13, ang in-approve niya yung opening ng classes, blended learning pa rin. Hindi pa siya nag-approve ng face-to-face. Ang ating hinihingi, pinapropose na ini-endorse naman ng AITF na i-pilot muna yung face-to-face. So kung mag-umpisa tayo sa September 13, pag-open ng classes, hindi naman natin mailagay sa peligro ang mga bata dahil blended learning pa rin. Hindi pa rin natin pinapayagan ang face-to-face on September 13. Depende yan sa resulta ng pilot study natin kung aaprubahan ng Presidente dahil marami siyang tinitingnan na aspeto tungkol sa health situation natin ngayon.
The Philippines stressed the need for multilateral cooperation to address the gaps in the global vaccine. During the online seminar of the Association for Southeast Asian Nations, Deputy Assistant Secretary Marian Jocelyn Tirol Ignacio of the Office of the ASEAN Affairs said people in high and upper middle-income countries get 80% of the 3 billion vaccinations worldwide, while lower-income countries are heavily reliant on cooperation frameworks such as COVAX. Ignacio urged multilateral institutions such as the World Health Organization, International Monetary Fund, the World Bank Group, and World Trade Organization to lead the cause in making vaccines a global public good. The ASEAN Seminar on Upholding Multilateralism was initiated by Brunei Darussalam, the ASEAN Chair for 2021. The Department of Health says vaccines are some of the most rigorously tested medical products. These include the COVID-19 vaccines. It says, aside from adherence to the minimum public health standards, vaccination is an important way to protect people from getting severe COVID-19. Let us find out how vaccines work for those who availed of the free jabs.
First dose ko is nantok lang ako, tapos parang sisipunin the next day, pero ang advice kasi ng mga nurse uminom ng paracetamol, kaya yun yung ginawa ko. And then after naman na second dose, mas maganda yung pakiramdam, walang side effects, ngalay lang yung braso, and then after nun wala na, so far wala pa naman.
Sa first dose, sakit ng ngipin at saka nagkasinat. Pero sandali lang naman, pagkainom ng paracetamol, nawala na. Nung second dose, wala akong naramdaman, mas magaan.
Still to come, Cabinet officials are set to report on the government's efforts to protect the environment in the upcoming pre-SONA. And the Philippine National Police says the country's peace and order situation improved under the Duterte administration. Details ahead. This is the PNA Newsroom. The COVID-19 pandemic has greatly changed our lives for the worse. Lives and jobs were lost and economies reached a meltdown. Thanks to the arrival of safe and effective vaccines, we are one step closer to normalcy. It's time to do our part, get vaccinated for our safety and for our recovery.
You are there in that community, go there and have yourself vaccinated by any of the vaccines available. They are all potent, they are all effective.
I would like to appeal to all our kababayans, please get vaccinated against COVID-19 and be the government partner in preventing further spread of the disease. I encourage you to get vaccinated as soon as possible time. These vaccines are safe and they are the key to reopening our society. The need for international solidarity and cooperation cannot be made clearer than this pandemic, because everyone is safe. No one is safe globally until everybody is safe.
Vaccines work. Several government offices are set to report their specific accomplishments for the Pre-SONA Forum address on Thursday, July 22nd. The Department of Environment and Natural Resources, or DENR, will be reporting on the government's accomplishments in building resilient and sustainable communities at the time of the coronavirus crisis. For its part, the Department of Agriculture will report on the progress of its 1DA reform agenda, which aims to modernize the Philippine agricultural and fishery sectors. The forum will be held at the PICC in Pasay City and will be hosted by the Presidential Communications Operations Office, or PCOO. The Philippine National Police says the vastly improved peace and order situation in the country is due mainly to the intensified police anti-criminality efforts and the relentless anti-drug campaign of the Duterte administration. PNP Chief General Guillermo Eleazar says that while other factors contributed to the significant decrease in crime in the past 5 years, the aggressive campaign against illegal drugs played a key role in it. Eleazar also recognized the Duterte administration's full support of the police force, which includes providing better pay and benefits. He said the PNP would sustain its gains against criminality and continue to keep the community safe. The Army's 4th Infantry Division headquarters in Cagayan de Oro City handed the Order of Lapu-Lapu to the bereaved family of Private Jesfel Makibas. He said soldier initially survived the C-130 plane crash in Patikul, Sulu, but eventually died of complications nearly 2 weeks after. The remains of Makiabas arrived in Cagayan de Oro City from Zamboanga City on Saturday morning. The Merit Medal was handed to the 26-year-old's relatives. Cash assistance was also provided by the presidential management staff. A mass was held at the gymnasium before the body was transported to his hometown in Barangay Mati, Claveria, Misamis Oriental. Christy Pahela, Makiaba's aunt, said the parents did not join them as they were quarantined after being identified as close contacts of a COVID-19 patient in Claveria. The Bicol Regional Task Force COVID-19 and the Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council are on alert for the arrival of a tugboat and barge from Butuan City, reportedly with crew members infected with the virus. The Office of Civil Defense, or OCD, said that MV Tug Clyde and barge Claudia would arrive at a private port in Santo Domingo, Albay on Tuesday with 20 crew members. 12 of them are COVID-19 positive. The vessel from Indonesia arrived at the port of Butuan on Thursday, July 14. OCD Bicol has informed the National Emergency Center and alerted the city government of Legazpi and the concerned agencies. The Bureau of Quarantine has also requested to present the protocol on the handling of passengers of MV Tug Clyde and barge Claudia when it arrives. Meanwhile, active surveillance of COVID-19 cases has enabled Department of Health in Region 10 to detect the Delta variant in 2 northern Mindanao cities. The DOH Central Office announced on Friday that of the 16 recent Delta variant cases, 6 are in Misamis Oriental, 5 from Cagayan de Oro City, and 1 from Gingoog City. DOH 10 Director Dr. Josel Lacuna said the Delta variant cases underscored the importance of regular testing and sending samples to the Genome Center. After the Delta variants were confirmed, the Interagency Task Force placed Cagayan de Oro and Guingoo cities under enhanced community quarantine until July 31. CDO Mayor Oscar Moreno said they will also ramp up the vaccination rollout. In our business news, a company from Wuhan, China is coming to the country to set up its facility here. Trade Undersecretary Seferino Rodolfo said the Wuhan firm works in the area of telecommunication infrastructure. The firm will not only concentrate on providing telecommunication services and infrastructure in the Philippines, but making the country its hub for its other projects in Asia. Rodolfo, who is also the managing head of Board of Investment, said this investment shows the continued interest of Chinese investors in the Philippines. From investment interests coming from state-owned companies in China, commercially driven enterprises are also coming to the Philippines. These firms include Panhua Group, that is investing in a steel mill in Mindanao, and an electric bicycle manufacturer that partnered with a local firm in setting up its own factory in Bulacan. Up next, bike enthusiasts gather to remember Keith and Nolvin Absalon and condemn the atrocities of the CPP and PANDF. And the Department of Tourism backs Iloilo City's bid for the title of UNESCO's Creative City of Gastronomy. Back after a quick break, stay with the PNA Newsroom. You're still watching the PNA Newsroom. In commemoration of the 40th day after the death of football player Keith Absalon and his cousin Nolvin, bike enthusiasts around the country bonded together to call for justice, peace, and the end of terrorism. More on this from Marita Mawahe.
Bike enthusiasts in Antique on Saturday joined the nationwide Bike for Justice and Peace to commemorate the 40th day of the death of the Absalon cousins, who were killed in a roadside explosion of an anti-personnel mine in Masbate City last June 6. The explosion of the landmine planted by the New People's Army rebels in Purok 4, Barangay Unas, Masbate City left Keith Absalon, a football player of the Far Eastern University, and Nolvin Absalon dead. The cyclists gathered for a short biking activity in the morning to express their condemnation of the killing. They also led a tree planting or coastal cleanup, followed by a candle lighting ceremony. The activity was held as part of raising awareness against the CPP-NPA and its use of landmines. In Aurora Province, more than 300 residents participated in the Bike for Justice and Peace on Saturday. The event was highlighted with the burning of the CPP-NPA-NDF flag and signing of the Peace Covenant of the participants, who then biked traversing central municipalities of Baler, Dipaculao, Maria Aurora, and San Luis. The group strongly called for justice for the victims of human rights abuses and atrocities and all their crimes against humanity. Bikers groups in Pangasinan also joined Saturday's nationwide condemnation of the CPP-NPA and the call for justice for their victims. The Metro Dagupan Cycling Club said they are seeking justice for the killing of Keith and Nolven, who were also cycling enthusiasts. The group also signed a manifesto condemning the terroristic attack of the CPP-NPA. The cycling event in Baguio was participated in by about 200 persons plus around 100 others who joined the Zumba and yoga events at the Baguio Convention Center. The event was capped by the recitation of the Manifesto of Support and Call for Justice for the victims of the CPP-NPA-NDF. The event, held with the support of the National Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict, is a call for justice for all the victims of the CPP-NPA-NDF. She said the story of Keith, where lives are lost and futures are stolen by the CPP-NPA, is what the NTF-ELCAC wants to end. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Marita Muaje.
The Philippine Statistics Authority has begun the Step 2 registration for the Philippine Identification System in Zamboanga City. The PSA said they will prioritize for the biometrics process those who registered during the house-to-house Step 1 registration from January 18 to April. Over 200,000 residents of low-income households and those with poor internet connection registered their demographic data. They will be notified through text message for their schedule in Step 2 at the PSA 9 office SM Mindoro, the Daycare Center of Barangay Arena Blanco, and the Multipurpose Hall of Barangay Labuan and the Barangay Hall of Lumbangan. Meantime, the public is encouraged to register online via register.philsys.gov.ph and wait for the notification of their schedule in September. And in our news overseas, more than 150 people were killed and over 650 others were injured in flooding in western Germany as of Sunday. At least 110 people lost their lives in the hard-hit Ahrweiler district of the Rhineland-Palatinate state. In neighboring North Rhine-Westphalia, officials confirmed 45 deaths. Germany's worst floods in more than 200 years, triggered by midweek heavy rains, caused widespread devastation in the western regions bordering Belgium and France. Chancellor Angela Merkel was expected to visit the flood-hit region of Rhineland-Palatinate as her coalition government is working on a financial aid package to help flood victims. Germany's public television PRRD has also launched a donation campaign to raise money for the victims. In sports, Tokyo Olympic organizers confirmed on Sunday that 2 athletes have tested positive for COVID-19 in the Olympic Village. This came after a non-athlete in the village tested positive earlier on Saturday, and these 2 confirmed cases are the first among competitors. Tokyo 2020 spokesperson Masa Takaya said the 2 athletes are from the same country and same sport, and they were isolated as soon as they returned positive tests. Last Saturday, Ryu Seung-min, president of the South Korean Table Tennis Association and a former Olympic champion, tested positive for COVID-19 upon his arrival at Narita International Airport. At the press conference, organizers also detailed countermeasures against COVID-19 and Japan's brutal summer heat. Hand sanitizers, alcohol, disinfectant sheets, and medicated hand soap would be distributed. Athletes are also asked to maintain social distancing and wear masks, and are offered lounges with air conditioning, water, and ice baths. The Department of Tourism is supporting the bid of the Iloilo City government to be designated as a creative city of gastronomy. The DOT extended its assistance to the Mega World Museums and the National Commission for Culture and the Arts for a three-pronged program on Ilonggo heirloom dishes called Timplada, the Art of Ilonggo Cuisine. Tourism Secretary Bernadette Romulo Puyat said they are supporting Iloilo as a gastronomic hotspot and home to the La Paz Bachoy and Pansit Molo. She said that it is high time for the city to join the prestigious UNESCO-recognized cities, especially now that they are exploring strategies to hasten the revival of the tourism sector. The City of Gastronomy project is part of UNESCO's Creative Cities Network. The UNESCO project has listed a total of 36 cities of gastronomy all over the world. If selected, Iloilo will be the first Philippine city to make it to the list. Here's another look at today's biggest stories. Manila has breached the 1 millionth mark in the administration of the COVID-19 vaccines. The Department of Health finds no more active cases of the Delta variant of COVID-19 in the country. A relentless campaign against crime, the Philippine National Police says the country's peace and order situation improved under the Duterte administration. And biking for peace and justice, bike enthusiasts gather to remember Keith and Nolven Absalon and condemn the atrocities of the CPP and PA-NDF. As Filipinos, we all have a vital role to play in preventing the spread of COVID-19. So remember, wear your face masks and face shields, wash your hands often, practice safe physical distancing, go out only for essential reasons, and get vaccinated as soon as possible to protect ourselves, our families, and the community. Together, we can beat COVID-19. Thank you for watching another episode of the PNA Newsroom. To check more news content, visit our webpage or head onto the Philippine News Agency's Facebook and Twitter accounts. For more stories about the government and how it serves Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. We are shown on the pages of the PCOO and its attached agencies. Also, watch us on television on PTV4 and IBC 13. And that's your daily dose of the biggest stories that you need to know from the PNA Newsroom. We tell stories that inspire change. I am William Theo. Good day, stay safe, everyone.